Live from South Beach, it's your host Tyler with ND Sports talking a little national championship preview.
We're going to South Beach.
It's going to be the biggest environment you've ever been in.
Can y'all feel that? Jig it out.
Got a prediction? Irish win.
Miami, the city that keeps the roof blazing.
Welcome to Miami. Bienvenido a Miami.
Bouncing in the club with the heat is on all night on the beach to the break of dawn. I'm going to Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
Hey Irish fans, thank you for joining Notre Dame Nation Sports Talk with Tyler, coming to you live from Miami, South Beach. 82 degrees down here, sun is shining. Hope all you Irish fans that are here are keeping cool out in the hot sun. For our fans in the cooler climates up north, thank you for joining in. One day stands between us and a national championship. Notre Dame will be playing Alabama tomorrow, 8:30 down here in Miami, Florida. We'll be coming to you live with some updates and a podcast from that tomorrow. But today, let's preview the BCS National Championship game between number 1, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and number 2, the returning champions, Alabama Crimson Tide. Now everybody knows the talk between these two teams. It's going to be a physical battle, come down to defense, come down to which offensive line can succeed and overpower the front seven of both teams' defenses. Notre Dame, a 12-0 team, played great teams this season. No matter what anybody says, it was a very, very tough schedule, starting off with Navy, tough games with Michigan and Michigan State, a tough game with Stanford, an amazing win there, and another big win over Oklahoma, and finishing off against a tough USC team. Even though Matt Barkley didn't play, that's a solid team with 2 great receivers, a solid defense, and Notre Dame played successful. So I would be able to say Notre Dame knows how to play in a big game. Notre Dame has history this season. Every game to them had, pretty much came down to the wire. Besides BC, Navy, and Wake Forest, Notre Dame was in tough games all throughout the year. And I don't think that the national championship is going to be a game where they're going to be surprised. They're not going to know what to do in certain situations. Notre Dame is very experienced, which I believe that Alabama is experienced too. But when you look at their game against Texas A&M, going down to the final minutes, and A.J. McCarron throwing a interception in the red zone, doesn't show to me the type of experience that Notre Dame has. But regardless, it's the national championship, and I feel like both teams will show up in the fourth quarter and will put everything on the line for that trophy. But Coach Lou Holtz had something else to say about whether this game would go into a fourth quarter or not last night at the Notre Dame pep rally, where there was 20,000 Notre Dame fans lined up on Miami Beach. And here's what Lou said last night to the fans.
Before we went out for a big game like this, the last thing I said to them, sincerely, I said, man, this sucker doesn't have to be close.
I've been to Notre Dame pep rallies. I've seen Notre Dame football games at Notre Dame Stadium, and I haven't experienced a pep rally like I did last night. Everyone was focused. Everyone knew what was at hand. The speakers were incredible. Mike Golick killed it on stage. I loved his intro when he said, I'm not an ESPN analyst. I'm not Mike in the morning. I'm a Notre Dame dad, and my son plays for the number 1 team in the country, and we are part of the number 1 team in the country. That really put it in perspective for me right away, that there's so many people connected to this university. There's so many people that have Notre Dame in their soul and have a connection somehow, that this is a huge game for Notre Dame fans. Since '88, we haven't been to a national championship. We've been to a BCS game here and there, but it hasn't been to this extent of Notre Dame being the best team in the nation. So there's a lot on the line for this game. And even being here is great. But like I said in my blog, it's not all about being here. We're not just happy to be here. So with that, let's get into previewing this game. Let's compare the Crimson Tide and the Fighting Irish right now. We're going to start with the quarterbacks, Everett Golson and A.J. McCarron. two different quarterbacks in my mind. Everett's going to get out of the pocket and run, obviously, create a lot with his feet, but he's really going to hit the windows when he passes. He's got a strong arm and a big hand that helps him fire it into small places. AJ, on the other hand, has a big arm, but he's going to throw a lot of deep balls. He's got some receivers that are really fast, like to run under the ball, and he really likes to throw the crossing patterns deep, the deep fade routes. Pretty much AJ wants the long ball. AJ's a good leader, though. He's a field general. He has things under control. Obviously, Saban has him following his guidelines very well. But I think Everett's a great leader, too. He's developed a lot. Everybody's talked about his development in his game, and what I really noticed was his development in the huddle and on the field, being able to call audibles, getting the snap count underway, getting the ball snapped before the play clock expires. That's where Everett's developed, and I'm excited to see him play on Monday night. We could talk about the quarterbacks all we want, but we know what really is going to happen is the run game is going to come into big play as these defensive linemen are really going to bust through the middle and test the offensive line. And that's where I think Notre Dame's got the upper hand. We have some of the best running backs in the nation in Sierra Wood, Theo Riddick, and George Atkinson III. Now, getting these guys carries is going to be the big thing here. Theo is a guy that's really going to be hard to tackle. He stays on his feet very well. He's quick, has that one jab step that he loves to go to. Sierra's a fast guy that's going to stretch plays out, try to get to the edge and beat you upfield. And George Atkinson's just fast. He's flat out going to beat you to the end zone. So getting these guys carries is going to be very, very difficult for Brian Kelly, but he's done a great job of that this year. I think that Notre Dame is going to have a great running game on Monday, and it'll start with Sierra Wood. You're going to put Sierra Wood and Theo Riddick in there. Theo's going to get some carries. Then you'll throw George Atkinson in the mix to keep the guys fresh. But our run game is really going to wear down Alabama, and then it'll open up a couple passing lanes for Everett, maybe even get Everett some rushing yards. I'm excited to see some quarterback sneaks with Everett, but our run game is going to be the factor tomorrow. And that comes into play against Alabama's defensive line, which I think Alabama has a great defensive front. And they got guys that can come in when other guys are getting tired. They're deep, and they're very physical. But our offensive line is the same exact way. We could sit here and talk about Zach Martin, Braxton Cave, guys that are going to push you around on the Alabama side and tell you that, hey, we have guys that can come in too. So it's gonna come down to the better players staying in the longest, the better players being physical for the longest. And the fact of the matter is I believe that our offensive lines can hold down the defensive side of Alabama long enough to get Theo Riddick and Sierra Wood and Atkinson up the middle for a couple rush yards. I mean, we did it against Oklahoma. It took, one or two possessions before Sierra Wood was in the end zone, so I'm excited to see it tomorrow against the Crimson Tide. Now, enough about Alabama's defense. Our defense is what's going to be very key for us tomorrow, led by Manti Te'o. Should have won the Heisman. That's over now. It's time for him to get a national championship. We have Lewis Nix, Capron Lewis Moore, and Stephen Tuitt that are going to have huge games tomorrow. They're playing on the down front of the defensive line, getting dirty in the trenches tomorrow against Alabama's offensive line. I'm sick of hearing about the center from Alabama who's played 49 games. His foot's hurt. He's still going to play. I don't care. You're not going to be able to handle these guys on our defensive line. You can't handle Capron Lewis Moore. You cannot handle Stephon Tuitt. And if you dare to try and handle Lewis Nix, 300-plus pounder, you're going to be done for. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of sacks tomorrow, and the run game of Alabama is going to hurt against this defensive line and these linebackers, Manti Te'o, Fox, and Prince Shembo. So look for this Notre Dame defense that only allows 10 points per game to be getting some big hits on Monday night. Look for them to be making big plays in the backfield, getting some sacks, and watch this secondary guard these receivers. You got some good receivers in Alabama, but Bennett Jackson and safety Zeke Mata are hard guys to get by. They're physical defensive backs that are going to stop the pass game, and I trust these guys out. I trust our whole secondary. We've been tested all year, and this is where we're going to put it all to work. This is going to be a great game. I feel our defense is better than Alabama's defense. And you know what? Defense wins championships. We've proved that all year. We proved that defense wins games. But defense gets you here, and it's going to win this championship. Irish fans, the beach is calling my name, so I have to leave you with Lou Holtz signing off for me at the Notre Dame pep rally. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning on National Championship Day, previewing again the national championship between Alabama and Notre Dame. Looking forward to it. Here's Lou Holtz. Everybody have a great day.
Be happy for a month, buy a new car. Want to be happy for a year? Win the lottery. Want to be happy for a lifetime? Beat Alabama and win the national championship.
Party in the city where the heat is on.